Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. I'm really excited for this panel. I know we have a few more that are going to be helping on. But basically what we're going to be doing tonight is Ash and I were sent some questions like ahead of time, and then also whether even if you're on the panel, if you're not, type in questions to the chat for us to get to. We have like 4 or 5 questions that were sent in beforehand, and most of them aren't really directed to anyone in particular, but if you feel like you have something to add, definitely like share all your knowledge, and Ash and I might have some tips here and there too. That's essentially what's going to be happening. And we did one of these, I don't know if you remember, Ash, we didn't talk about this earlier, but we did one of these like 2 years ago.
Yes.
And it was end of January, which is really funny, 2015. And team sales skyrocketed. It was the last few days of January, and then it just, yeah.
It was like our little baby team. Our little baby team exploded, and it was amazing.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to do this tonight. I'm going to start with, that's not what I wanted. The first couple questions that we got, and then in the meantime, you guys type in questions to the chat, and we'll get to
Hey,
it.
Rach, do we want to let the those that are on the panel, do we want to give them a chance to just quickly introduce themselves, the ones that are already on?
Yeah.
That way everyone can kind of put a face with the name. Obviously, they've got their name underneath there too, but.
That's a really good idea. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Brianna, you're first in my eyesight, so I'm going to let you introduce yourself first.
I'm Brianna. I am the direct level 1 of Asia. I'm a silver ambassador, and I joined last April. Yeah.
Come around there. And she consistently, since she joined, has had amazing sales and was apparently a wholesale ambassador at first. So, just saying.
We love those.
Yeah, no, that was Ashley.
That was me too. I was not interested in the business, not at all. No, thank you.
Okay, Tessa, you're next.
Hi, I'm Tessa. Sorry, my son is still bombarding me. I'm Asia's downline as well. Me and Brianna are actually business partners right now. We're working on it. I've been with Plexus since August, and I actually joined after telling her no for an entire year. So I'm pretty upset that it took a year, but it is what it is.
And you're here now and rocking it, so that's what matters. Okay, Kayla Leonard, you're next.
Hi, I'm Kayla. Rachel is my sponsor. I joined in June of 2015, and I am working my way to gold. And with this awesome convention contest, I'm super excited, and I'm going to do it. So that's going to be gold very soon.
Yeah, you need those 75 extra points, right?
Yes.
Okay, Tiffany, you're next.
Hey guys, I'm Tiffany Seeger. I'm a gold ambassador, working hard towards senior gold, and Catherine DeLeon is my sponsor. I'm actually going to be in the business going on 2 years now in March, so I'm excited to chat with you guys tonight.
Thank you, babe. Tiffany, the other Tiffany.
Okay. Got this audio situated. Okay, I'm Tiffany, and I've been with Plexus wholesale since, June? But then actual ambassador selling it since September. And Catherine is my upline, and I have really been loving this.
And you're rocking it.
Well, I hope so.
No, really, she is. Jennifer Leith, who hosted Super Saturday in Arizona, messaged me about her and was like, "Is she on your team? Because she's awesome." That legit happened.
I love Jennifer. Great.
Okay, Catherine, you're actually next in my little line.
Okay, sorry, I got super distracted. So when I first pulled up the Zoom,
a training from Helen McFadden started playing in the background, and that's all I could hear. And I could just see you guys, and that was playing. I was like, what is going on? Why is no one else hearing this? So I was completely thrown off. I had to leave and come back again. But anyway, I'm Catherine. I have been with Plexus for about 2.5 years now. I am Ruby Ambassador, working really hard towards Senior Ruby, and really looking forward to qualifying Emerald by the cutoff for Hawaii. Even though we live in Hawaii, it'd be super exciting to see everybody over on Maui. And I'm really excited to share some tips with you guys and just hang out tonight. Yeah. Or today for me.
Yeah, it's the middle of the day for you. Okay, Asia, you're next, boo.
I was really scared just now. My power went out and it completely turned everything off. I was like, shit. Anyways, my name is Asia. I have been a Plexus ambassador since August of 2016. Rachel's asked me to do a PV Zoom before in the past, and I'm really, really honored to be able to do another one with 2 of my downlines. Brianna and Tessa are both of my downlines, and so I'm really, really proud to have been asked to do it with them. So I'm really, really excited.
Yeah. What happened was I picked my top 10 from levels 1 through 4 for December. So that should, you see, like, both Catherine and Asia both have multiple level 1s on here. So if that shows you anything about what they're doing right. Yeah.
Some really nice commission overrides. So nice job, ladies.
And now we get points on level 2 customers for convention credits. So, Sable's on. She can introduce herself too.
Yeah, Sable, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sable Victory, Senior Ruby Ambassador. Been doing this gig now for 2.5 years, and I'm excited to share some tips with you guys.
Yeah, girlfriend always has high PV. I was just talking to her about it. She's like, I feel like
a push.
It was, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but she was so cute. She's like, girl, I'm barely gonna get 1,000 PV this month. I'm struggling. I was like, shut up.
So that's me, and I'll share with you guys this, but literally ever since my first full month in Plexus, I've always had over 500 PV, and I just hit 500 PV 2 days ago, and I'm like, whoa, come on now, we need to get the ball going. So yeah,
I feel you. When I don't hit my 500, I'm like, okay, what's happening here? Okay.
Panic sets in.
So first few questions. One that we got was, how do you handle keeping the conversation flowing with a potential customer when you have different schedules? And Catherine, I thought that you'd be a good one to at least start to answer this with you being in a different time zone. You're almost always on a different schedule. So I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, so I think it's just about expectations, both with yourself and the people who you're chatting with. So just letting them know right off the bat, like, hey, I'm Hawaii Standard Time. And for anybody else, it could be like, I homeschool my kids from this time to this time and I won't be available. Or my work schedule, is from this time to this time. And just let them know so that there's not any miscommunication or just wrong expectations from the start. I know when I first moved here and I tried to make it work, and I would literally get up at 3 a.m. to try to work around the majority of my potentials and my customers and my team, and it didn't work best for me. So the beauty of this business is really working around your own schedule, making your own hours. So just relish that, do what works for you, set those expectations, and don't worry about them not being available when you're available. They will be available, I promise. And just setting those expectations so that they know what to expect and when to expect replies from you. So when I stopped working around, Central Standard Time, and I finally slept until 7 and went on a normal daily, schedule here, I would wake up to messages of like, hello, like, Catherine, where are you? And I'm like, it's 7 a.m. Like, I understand it's like 4 there, but it's like morning for me. I'm just waking up. And they were like, oh, I had no idea you were on that time zone. So just like setting those expectations, like if you're going to be, in a meeting and not able to get to your phone, let's say you're chatting over lunch, and you can't reply until after you're off or whatever, let them know, like, they don't mind as long as they know what to expect, is what I found in my experience. And trying to work around and be available all the time to them puts undue burden on you, and it kind of takes the fun and like flexibility out of this business. So I wouldn't recommend that either.
I can attest to that for sure, because my mouth is full of water. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to that question specifically before we move on? She pretty much covered a lot of it.
I'll add. Okay.
Perfect.
So, and she kind of touched on this a little bit, but especially if they are coming to you about the products, like, don't feel like you have to be at their beck and call. Because trust me, I've done this before in the past. I'm like, oh my God, I have to reply right away. And I'd be like doing something with my family or like playing with my kids or whatever. And like she said, that's the freedom of this job, is to be able to work when it's convenient for us. So like this weekend, you know, it was my daughter's birthday party and I was really trying to unplug from my phone, and I have like a whole list of people that I need to get back to. And so I literally just spent like 10 minutes scrolling back through all of my Facebook messages to find out who I needed to get back to and set times with them. And I told them, I'm like, hey, you know, I'm out of town this weekend, so I'm going to get back to you on, you know, Monday night, and we can go ahead and set up a time to schedule to talk more and figure out your health goals and this and that and the other. So yeah, setting those expectations, but just don't have that fear that like, oh no, like if I don't respond to them right away, I'm going to miss out on that opportunity with them. Because we have what they need. And majority of the time, if they've come to us saying, hey, I'm interested in XYZ products, whatever, it's because they realize that we have what they need. So they aren't going to go anywhere. So don't go into it with fear. Don't go into it with worry. Don't go into it with that doubt, because if you go into it with that mindset, then that's probably what you're going to get back as well. So that was all I wanted to add.
Thank you. The only thing that I'll add to that is when, well, first of all, this business should always be fun and easy. Like that's just what I truly believe. And if it's not, then you need to figure out how to make your schedule a little bit better. But don't get caught up in having to answer messages immediately. Like they all said, go with your flow, answer them when you can, and don't feel guilt about not getting back to them immediately. And when you do respond, something I like to say is, oh, thank you for your patience with me. If it's been more than like 24 hours or I left abruptly in the middle of a conversation, you know, and it wasn't like me asking a question and they didn't respond for like 15 minutes and I went on to something else. I just say, thanks for your patience with me. Half the time I don't even give an explanation of why they needed to give me patience. You know, sometimes I do, it depends, but don't feel like you need to explain yourself. Like, you're a busy person, you got things to do, and you're getting back to them in a timely manner, and that's okay. They're not going anywhere.
I want to add to that. I absolutely agree that if you are confident in yourself and your verbiage, but for me, I don't have guilt as long as I know when I'm going to be responding back to them. It doesn't mean I communicate that with them all the time, but I'm like, hey, I see that. I know that tomorrow during this time is when I'm going to get back to those messages, or this evening, or whenever it may be. So having that helps a lot with like getting rid of any of that guilt or, oh my gosh, am I doing this right? Because I know when I'm going to work my business. And I found that, like Rachel said, saying, thanks so much for flowing with me as we're, you know, having this conversation back and forth when it fits into both of our schedules really helps a lot. So like, oh yeah, no problem. So does anyone else have anything to add to that before we go to the next question we had sent in? You good?
Ooh.
All right. Question 2 is, and this is for anyone that wants to respond. What are the biggest personal development and like mindset things that you've worked through that have positively impacted your results? And like, we're talking results of closing a sale easily. So mindset, personal development. Yes, Asia.
I actually had commented on one of Rachel's posts earlier with this, is not being ashamed of what we do. Knowing that I'm helping people and kind of putting it into my mind and reminding myself like, okay, I'm helping to change people's lives. It kind of takes away from me feeling like I'm like selling something, like I'm being a salesperson. And so that helps me. Actually, right before this, I helped a friend of mine order Triplex, which I've been trying to get her to do it for like the past 6 months. But, you know, like, I think that just realizing that this is more than just us selling products to people, it's sharing a lifestyle change. That kind of takes away from like the salesy end of it. And that has helped me a lot in not only getting customers, but in maintaining loyal customers. You know what I mean? People that keep coming back. So that's my answer.
Yeah. Love that so much, because if they're just drinking a drink or taking a capsule and it wasn't the right timing for them, they're going to walk away with a bad taste in their mouth. So absolutely, timing and sharing that lifestyle shift is so important. So I love what you said about that with like the confidence. Does anyone else have something they want to add to that?
I think for me, probably the biggest things, and it's still something that I struggle with, but I have to literally like get my mind off of it right the second it comes into my head. But detaching yourself emotionally from the outcome, I think is the hurdle I've ever had to get over, because it's hard sometimes when people that you care about come to you and they're like, hey, you know, I really, you know, want to try this, or I'm super skeptical or whatever. Maybe you reach out to them and you say, hey, like I, you know, saw that you were just diagnosed with celiac and I really think that these products can help you. And I, you know, I'm coming from a place of love, and they either shut you down or they lead you on or whatever. They don't order right away. Any outcome other than ordering right away, it can take a toll on you. So for you to detach yourself emotionally from the outcome, and that's literally one of my affirmations that I say to myself every day, because so many times I've gotten my hopes up from people saying that they were going to order, or me thinking that people were just going to, you know, trust me and go with it. And then they end up, you know, falling through the cracks, or, you know, they end up just, you know, not ordering or whatever the case may be. So now if that happens, when that happens, I'm like, okay, you know what? It's no, not right now. I'm going to detach myself emotionally from the outcome and on to the next one. Like I have tons and millions of other people out there in the world that I can help. So I'm just going to keep doing, you know, my part. I'm going to keep working on my mission, and I'm going to help somebody else who's ready. And they may come back to me later, they may not, but I know that I'm still, you know, still doing what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. Kayla, would you mind sharing on this? Because you haven't always had the highest PV, but especially here lately, like it's consistently high. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, what Sarah was saying really definitely resonates with me, and I think that that was a really important piece of the puzzle for me, and just mindset in general of just you know, believing in yourself, and then but also not being attached and not being discouraged, and then also just like being I've noticed a lot, like just genuine you know, relationships, and like people have really been attracted to me sharing that, like my mindset changing, like, you know, that I'm obsessed with being positive, and I've had like multiple people like tell me like they are loving it. So you know, people are attracted to positivity, so that, you know, like basically everything you've been doing, Rachel, I'm loving it. I'm following in your lead 100%.
Thanks. I need that gift there, the one of the boy that goes. That's my favorite one.
And yeah, definitely the Think Up and affirmations have every single one of those. It just speaks to your soul and just, you know, awakens that part of you that realizes that we are doing it to help people and to change lives, and to have everybody be on the same journey with us. And it's exciting.
What I have to say really transitions into that. So definitely, I have a problem. I don't have a problem. I used to have an issue of being worried about what other people think, or like creating stories in my head. I think it's a Leo thing. I'm pretty sure I've talked to other people about this. But like, I'm like, oh, well, I already know how this person's going to respond, because I already know them, and it's probably going to be like this. Or I just worry because I'm a little bit self-conscious, I guess, or even like my friends or a new ambassador, or who I'm like really excited about. I'm like, I don't know how she's going to respond to this. Like, you know, I don't know. And I did that with my customers. And so sometimes I'll still get a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie. And what I do before I send a message, sometimes even before I even type it, I tell myself affirmations, or I'm like, they're going to be so excited for that. Like, what is actually the truth? I sent a message to one of my really close friends, and this is about, recruiting, but I just know she'd be great for the business. And she told me no, which was fine. And we're still best friends. It's great. But I was like, no, I was like, I'm not going to be nervous. This isn't going to affect our friendship. And she would rock this business. If I don't bring it up to her, I'm doing her a disservice based upon conversations we had had. So I was like, nope, she's going to love it. It's going to be great. And if it isn't for her, that's totally cool. And I just tell myself that. And then I smile and I send the message. I talk to myself. And then number two, what changed for me, along with doing the whole manifestations of making sales is always fun and easy. I'm constantly attracting like-minded people who easily see my vision. Like, God, I showed you that message of that person that sent me, like, I'd never talked to them before, and they just sent me a message, and she ordered that day. Like 140, 150 PV. Yeah. But shut up, Asia. But being authentic is huge. And I was telling Ashley this earlier, that change in mindset of I don't have to be professional and I don't have to be a robot and I don't have to have the perfect exact answer. I can talk like I would talk to them. Like we're going to a freaking sushi restaurant, like how much I love it there. I'll be like, girl, oh my gosh, this California roll will change your life. Okay. I tell them about that, like with the products. I'm like, yeah, like, let me tell you, this X Factor kids, your kid gonna be pooping. Like, let me just tell you. And I send like a bunch of poop emojis and like, I'm real. And sometimes I even curse. Like, that's just me. That's how I talk. And people really, really like that. And it keeps the conversation like super light and real. So just be you. Like, don't try to be anybody else if that's not your thing. Be professionish. That's my word. Anyway, Catherine.
Yes, I wanted to say something, just expanding on what Asia had said, just like reiterating it. It's less about mindset, which is equally as important, but it's also about knowledge. Just equipping yourself with that product knowledge, I think, helps a ton in closing the sale. I mean, knowing, and then also understanding that our products are more than just weight loss. That was a huge shift for me, because I felt like when I was selling weight loss products, I was badgering people, to get started on their weight loss journey. And like, it felt different than when now I offer people health and happiness products. And it's it's just a different process. And for me, it's just a lot more, it just flows better. And the outcome is always better because people are expecting, there's only so many people who need to lose weight or who want to lose weight, but everybody, like, I don't know a single person who couldn't benefit from being healthier and happier. And when I look at it like that, and then I equip myself with the knowledge that our products can help everyone, or at least everyone knows someone who could benefit from our products, that helps me a lot to, like Asia said, just remember what you have and the value of that. I think that helps a ton also.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Off of that, Catherine, when you have the knowledge, your conversation is going to flow so much easier, and you're not going to be, okay. So when we say that, like, you don't have to respond to someone right away. No, of course not. This is going to fit into your schedule. I'm kind of going back to that point. But if you're going to start a conversation with someone and then they start asking you a question, don't make them wait for an answer. Like, if you're going to take the time to sit down and respond to them, how are you going to answer if you don't know the knowledge, if you don't have it already in your mind? And it's just something that takes a little bit of time to sit down and truly understand how incredible our products are. And once you do, it makes it so much easier and fun to talk about them, because you're like, oh girl, you're going to love this. Like, this is why it's valuable. This is why you want this product and need this product. And it's why it's worth the value.
I don't want to hog this, but I just have a specific situation that went with that. Literally earlier, I was telling someone about Accelerator, and I was able to say, like, without going into a bunch of details, and actually I had to look up the specific ingredients because I don't keep Accelerator ingredients memorized. So I just went to back office. I went to our website. I don't know. I remember if I went to a shareable or just looked up the label, but it's yerba mate and green coffee bean and 5-HTP are like the main ingredients. And I was like, yeah, it has yerba mate and green coffee bean extract or same thing. Or maybe, no, it was green tea extract. I was like, so you have great energy. It encourages natural metabolism boost, and the 5-HTP is a mood regulator, which was huge. And that's what she was looking for specifically. So that's what we were talking about that. And I was able to just say, hey, like, here's what it is. But also, like, that's fun for me, first of all, to like know little science tidbits and to tell them that really encourages them and makes them feel like, okay, I can trust this person. She knows what she's talking about. But for those that are new, don't feel overwhelmed if you don't know everything, because we have a lot of shareables. It's really easy to look things up, and don't be afraid to be like, you know what? Be like, I'm really new, but here's this awesome, great shareable. The answer's in here with a lot of other great stuff. Like the info sheets is what I'm talking about with the shareables, not the weird graphic stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So like showing them that this is easy and duplicatable, even if you don't know everything. That doesn't mean you shouldn't take the time to learn stuff. That is huge. But if you're just starting out, don't feel like you have to know everything either.
Yeah, with those information sheets, using verbiage is something like, this is where I've gotten a lot of my information that really sparked my interest, and this is why I think this is going to be great for you. Here's more. Like letting them just be like, here you go, and not trying to like spoon feed it to them, but keeping that like confidence that I know that you're going to like this. Here's more information for you as I'm like starting off.
Mm-hmm. Tiffany, Brianna, Tessa, do you guys have anything, or both Tiffany's, do you have anything to add?
You guys pretty much covered, like I took a couple notes of like my top tips, and all of it really had to do with like mindset and affirmations. And like Kayla said, like downloading the Think Up app. If you guys have not downloaded that, download it and listen to it every single day. I'll listen to it like while I'm doing my makeup, or like drying my hair, or taking a shower, or driving the car, doing dishes. It really makes a difference. If you are telling yourself every day that you can't make a sale, that no one wants these products, yeah, I'll listen to mine while I work. Yeah, exactly. In the morning when I wake up. But if you guys are telling yourselves that you can't get customers, that no one wants our products, that you can't reach 500 PV, then that's going to become true. But if you're telling yourself that you have higher PV every single month, if you tell yourself that you get customers easily and effortlessly, it really makes a difference. Not only does it put it out there in the universe, but it also builds confidence in yourself. And you just notice a huge mindset shift whenever you're using affirmations every single day, and having belief in yourself and these products. And I shared today in my team page about how I reached out to someone and they literally thanked me for reaching out to them. So you guys just have the mindset that we are helping people, that people really need what we want. And when you're leading with that and not afraid to share what we have, it definitely makes a difference with sales. That's, yeah,
I just want to add that. One more point on mindset is that mindset's so important, because negativity is essentially poison to our mindsets and our business and just our life in general. So that's, that your mind, like doing the Think Up app and doing your affirmations, that is like taking the power and control, and deciding that you don't want to think those negative thoughts that destroy pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm. You control your reality, essentially, and which is like super cheesy and hippy dippy, but it's true. Okay, let's move on to the third question.
Rachel, we can actually kind of ask Tiffany a little bit more about, I'd love to ask her this next question specifically, since you're just talking on this. The next question is, if they don't reach out to you first, how do you start the conversation or lead it towards Plexus? So since Tiffany, you just said that you had someone you reached out to and she thanked you, you must have done it great.
Yeah, so I personally have started reaching out to everyone who interacts on my posts. This is a really easy way to start relationships with people who are already watching you. So it's someone who's already showing interest in not just my Plexus posts, but even my personal stuff, reaching out to them, building conversations or building relationships and starting conversations with them. A lot of the time it naturally will come up, almost always, because they'll normally tell me something that they're struggling with. I'm like, oh, well, I have the perfect thing for you that has helped me with something similar. Today I reached out to someone. I actually made a giveaway post, and those give me a lot of like new potentials normally. So if I'm ever like running out of potential, like customer potentials or things like that, I'll do a giveaway. I don't like doing them often because I think it like cheapens our products a little bit, but every now and then I will. I actually reached out to everyone who didn't win, and I let them know that we were having like free shipping and like deals, that we offer trial packs. And then I asked if they were interested in more information, and then we just went into conversation that way. I asked about their health goals. I got to know them, and then they were like so excited about the pink drink that they hardly even knew about, and they're like, I totally need this. So, just fearlessly sharing, talking to the people who were already showing interest or just interest in you, building those authentic relationships and just being your authentic self to those people, and not being afraid to talk about our products. I mean, you can't be afraid to bring it up. Otherwise, you're only holding yourself back, and you never know who needs it out there. You never know what someone's struggling with. So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's see. Tessa, do you have anything, like when you're reaching out to people, because you are somewhat new, and your PV is great, and it's gone up steadily. So what has, especially in regards to like when people don't reach out to you first, she's closing the door. How do you lead that conversation towards Plexus? How do you bring that up naturally?
Sorry, my husband got home, so it's going to be real loud with that door open.
You're fine.
Basically talk to them. I talk to them about their lives, about my life. How are they doing? How was their weekend? And then if their posts, normally they ask me about Plexus within all those conversations. Or if I see their posts of them constantly sick, constantly hurting, etc., I'll message them personally, and I'll like their post, tell them I'm sorry they're not feeling well, and then I'll comment and say, hey, what's going on? Why do you feel these things are happening to you? And everybody wants to talk about themselves, so they just keep talking. I'm giving tidbits, but not too much to let them do what they have to do. And then it's natural. It feels easy for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Talking about the products is just easy because I believe them. I had a lot of intestinal issues. I was in the hospital all the time. I'd be at work, and I'm a correction officer. I'd be at work, and I'd be in so much pain, I'd have to fall to the ground. That is dangerous. And I haven't had that since August. Like, I haven't taken allergy pills, and I'm allergic to everything on this planet. So it's amazing. So all my friends see that. I've been into fitness since I was in high school, so everyone believes everything I say almost, even if it's not true. But not that I'm saying. Like, I get saying there's pigs are flying. They're gonna be like, really? Where?
You have a lot of influence.
I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. But they enjoy listening to what I have to say. I like talking to people.
I just want to say how I love how simple you made that. Like, sorry, Ash, I totally interrupted you, but like, doesn't she remind you of me when I first started? The way that she was explaining stuff. I just noticed that, and I love it. Anyway,
Asia commented. What did she say?
Should have said yes when I first asked you to join, woman.
I asked her when I first started in August of 2016. I asked her, I said, Tessa, you have to do this with me. She told me no for a goddamn year. She didn't sign up until August 2017. I was like, she said no to me for a year. We still we were best friends still throughout the whole time. And then finally I was just like, Tessa, this has to happen. And she was like, fine, I'll give it a try. All mad at me.
I liked all her posts. I commented on all her posts, but I kept telling her no.
Yeah.
Like, I loved it. I wanted to know what she was doing, but I didn't want to do it.
And that is why I say every no is always a yes, eventually.
I don't know. And she was a great person to me. I just like people are with me. I believe everything she says. It's just, I don't know.
That's cute.
I think that has a lot to do with you guys being really great listeners. That's why people believe what you say, is because they feel heard when you're talking to them. And like you said, Tessa, that was gold when you said people like to talk about themselves. They do. Because how often are we misunderstood, or are we misheard, or just ignored completely? So if you can give someone the time of day, they're like, oh my God, this is a really nice person. And they realize that you care. And then when we care, that's when people are open to us sharing about this. So exactly what you said, golden right there, is people like to talk about themselves.
I had to work on that, because I'm a person that you're talking to me and I'm thinking about what I'm going to tell you to respond. And I've been working on that, especially in my relationship. So that's helped me grow in my business too. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to think. I'm going to listen to everything you say, and then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to say within a decent time frame.
Oh my
So
God.
texting, simple.
You're me 2 years ago. Like, this is so weird. That's exactly the lesson I had. Okay. Does anyone have anything to add about reaching out and, leading that conversation? Catherine, I saw.
So mine wasn't really reaching out, but just, I thought you had worded the original.
If they don't reach out to you first, how do you start the conversation or lead it?
Okay, and so building off of just what Tessa said, I think it has a lot to do. Tessa and Asia both obviously just like exude that confidence, and they also live plexus out. They don't like compartmentalize their business, their personal life. Like Tessa said, it helps with so many other issues, and you can't that's your life. You can't hide that. And so when it becomes a part of you and you immerse yourself in the products and the business, people are naturally that's part of you. So just like they ask you, how your kids are doing or how your job is doing, like how are you doing with Plexus? How's your health journey? If you know someone who's on this major, comparing it to this major weight loss, like if someone's, on this going from 300 pounds and they're trying to lose 100 pounds or whatever, that's naturally something that comes up with their friends and family, asking them about how that's going. When you have this major health issue like Tessa had, and you find something that really works for you and you're on that journey of recovery and wellness, that's just something that people ask you about and they're naturally attracted to. And you don't necessarily have to go to them. They come to you when you are a product of the product, and you live that and you demonstrate that with your life. Not just on Facebook, or not just through one post a day or one post here and there. It's interwoven into who you are, because it's something that you truly believe in, and it has made that much of a difference.
I couldn't say it any better myself. I'm just, yes. This is why we have panels, right? Okay. Tiffany, or Brianna, do you have anything to add to this specifically?
I would just add that, or what I found, even when I've reached out to people first, they're always open to hearing about it. But even if it's not, like I said, it's never no. It's just not now. So I like to think of it, even if they don't sign up right away. I just think, okay, I planted my seed. I just have to wait until she's ready. So I'm just going to keep an eye on her from a distance and then tap in every once in a while, but I've planted my seed. So that's how my mindset's been this month especially.
Yeah, it's not an all-in-one. It doesn't have to happen in that first conversation, and it usually won't, actually. So, okay. Question number 4. Oh, we kind of already talked about this a little bit, but are you really professional and scripted when talking to potentials? Ashley says no.
Not at all.
No.
Rachel, do you remember when we decided to do the script for our team page to really help give people that needed a visual?
Structure.
I was like,
Yeah,
they need the structure for it. Thank you. And I was like, I have to ask you questions. I don't know. This just flows so much better in a normal conversation. I was like, all right, we can do this, because I wanted to offer that to our team. But it's great to know in that structure what it is that you're trying to accomplish there in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I am so totally not scripted. I couldn't tell you a single conversation that had the same verbiage in it. That's just not how I work. So that's why I was like, no way.
It's all my conversations are they're somewhat similar. they all have a general theme. And I think that's why we enjoy having the scripts and the guidelines. It's great, especially for new people when they're like, I don't know what to say. Like, how do I do this? It's great to have those guidelines, but that's what they are guidelines. And you have to change that to fit yourself and fit the conversation. And like I said earlier, like, don't be a robot. Don't feel like you have to be like, oh, I'm in work mode now. I have to do this is social marketing. It's not marketing. You're not in a freaking office writing a memo. Okay. Like, you're talking to your friends, telling them about how great taking shits are now that you have Probio 5 and BioCleanse. I'm not kidding. I have this conversation like 5 times a week. Okay. It happens and it works. So just saying.
Okay, I also want to, before we ask everyone actually on the panel, I want to point out, how many of you have you ever gotten like the same exact message from somebody in one company, and then someone else in that same company sent you the exact same message? You're like, could you not have like changed something other than my name? Like, I feel so gypped right now. It hurts. Like, and I'm like, okay. Don't take it personally, but that's what keeps me so far away from wanting to use a script. That, like Rachel said, I love that we have those resources to give you a guideline of what it is that you're supposed to be saying. But beyond that, make it personable, like so personable that no one could tell that the original script that you were using as a guideline is the same thing at all.
Brianna, I vote you to answer this because I feel like you and Asia would be great people to answer. Do you keep professional and scripted in life in general? Just because you're your own people, you know? So I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to people's professional view, like when they think professional, they don't really think of people like me that look like this, you know? So I would definitely say no. Again, I try to be as personal as I can. Like, yeah, I use certain guidelines. And then at the very beginning, I did use kind of a script. I would change up a few things here and there depending on who I was talking to. But I would always use my own voice. I wanted to make sure that whatever came out of me was relatable to me. And especially for the people, because in the very beginning, a lot of the people that wanted, you know, the information that came to me knew me for a long time. So it's like they knew how I talk. They knew that I'm not usually the type of person that's very like technical or knows all the scientific mumbo jumbo type stuff. I'm more of the type of person who knows how it affects me personally and the results that come from my experience. So I share that. Mm-hmm. And I curse a lot too. So it's always going to be in the conversation.
But and I know I said this, but if that's how you normally are, if that's how you normally speak, how you normally post, if you try to change that in any way when you go into Messenger, they're going to see straight through that. They're going to be like, oh, this is fake AF. And they're not going to be a part of it. So definitely continue. I mean, just be yourself for sure. Okay. Anyone else on being like professional and scripted on that?
So no, for me, like when I had asked Brianna to, you know, join our little family, like for me, just in general, letting your team know that it's okay to be themselves. I think that was a big thing. Like I remember telling Bri, like, okay, here are some scripts to go off of, but think about how you would say it. Because she's a very specific type of person, and she's a no BS kind of person, and I think that's one of the many things that I love about her. She doesn't give a rat's whatever. She will tell you how it is. And so many people know her for that. And so I told her, I said, you can be serious about your business and still be who you are. And people will still know who you are. They will respect you, and you can still be a professional businesswoman all at the same time. And I think that is really important, not just remembering it for yourself, but remembering to display that to your downline and your team, and letting them know, like, hey, it's okay to be kind of crazy. It's okay to be all out there, because there's going to be somebody who relates to you. There's going to be people that relate to you. Just the only thing that I would say is just take your business seriously, like in the sense of knowing what it's about and what it can do for people. But other than that, be who you are, because Brianna, it's okay to be weird. We talk about that all the time. You should see us at Super Saturday.
or sexy.
If any of you guys talk to Tessa long enough, you will hear her say I'm sexy within like 6 minutes of just talking to her. She thinks she's the sexiest person alive.
That's amazing. I knew I liked
love it.
You should see when we work out in the morning. Oh my God.
Y'all are great. Oh my God.
Yes, I love all of that. What was I just about to say? Go ahead, Rachel. My mind went blank.
Sable, were you going to say something when Asia did?
Yeah, so I think for me, like, I don't use scripts, but I have a series of questions that I like to ask people when I talk to them. So those questions typically are, you know, what are your health goals? Like, what are you wanting to focus on? What areas of your health are you wanting to focus on? Something worded, something like that. And usually, and this one, it's iffy. Like, I don't always ask this question depending on who the person is. And recently it kind of backfired on me. I'll tell you that in a second. But asking them, you know, like, what's your budget? You know, like, because we have products, you know, that can range from, you know, $35 a month and up, and I just want to make the perfect, you know, package for you or whatever. But health goals and budget are really the two big questions that I ask them to help me kind of consult them, because that's the way I look at it. Like, I give them basically a free consultation to figure out what product regimen is right for them, because for me, I am more sciencey. I like all the science behind it, and I like diving into figuring out exactly what would be the right regimen for them. But like recently I asked that question to somebody, and he is very well off, and I knew that, and he kind of took offense to it. He was like, I'm pretty well off, so just put something together for me. and send me an invoice. And like, he's professional too. And so sometimes I feel like you have to kind of gauge the conversation and know who you're talking to, like know who your audience is. If it's, you know, your best friend that you cuss with all the time that knows you, like, you might want to cut back on that professionalism. But if it's somebody like that who, you know, he was somebody I went to college with, and he, like, I don't know, like, he's a professional type person, I guess. So for him, I probably needed to make the conversation a little bit more professional, but we were also pretty college too. So it's like, it's hard for me, because I don't want to say I don't know who I am, because I'm multiple different people to multiple different people. I have my professional side, but I also have my like friendship side, I guess. And so, yeah, I'm a split personality, and I'm like, okay, how do I want to present myself to this person? And sometimes it's hard because I don't know the person at all. It may be somebody that I just met, and I'm like, okay, like, how do I gauge this with this person? Do I go the professional route, or do I go the me route? Like, what is it? So that one's really tough, but I do feel that, you know, just asking the specific questions, good leaders ask great questions, right, Rachel? I know you're a fan of that. But definitely just knowing the right questions to ask them, I think, is more important than following a script or anything.
Yeah, questions again, like, and those questions that you use, you know, I think I did a video this time last year talking about like how to not be salesy, and those were like some of the series of questions that I really talk about and focus on. But it really depends, like you said, knowing your audience. And I was laughing because he's like, send me an invoice, like it doesn't matter. Because I had someone similar, just 3 different situations in the sales I made in a week. One of them was my really close friend. She was like, tell me what to fucking buy. And I was like, okay. That's what she said. And I said, okay. And she was like, yeah, just keep it around 100, but I don't care if it goes over. And then I had a guy from yoga who was like, help me out, help me figure out what I need, send me an email. And I was like, okay, an email, cool. And I put something together, and then he purchased, and it's a lot more professional in that area. And then I had a friend who were kind of close, but not really. And she asked me out to lunch, and girlfriend already knew what she wanted. She already looked up before we had lunch. And then she's like, okay, how do I order? Like, she already knew. It's just totally different situations. So knowing your audience, you know, having kind of a guideline of what you generally do, but being flexible with that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, each situation is very unique, and each of us are very unique. And that's something that I've noticed more and more as I've started digging at like the top people in the company, because knowing who they are, I know who they're attracting. And it's really cool to find all of the unique people and their differences. and see how it works for everyone. Everyone goes about it a little bit differently, and how we treat individual people is going to matter, but I can do things completely different than Rachel, completely different than Catherine and Sable and Tiffany and, Kayla. It's all different, but it's all wonderful. So I love it.
Now the last question is very similar to one that we've already asked. Honestly, I'm kind of looking back. And this is getting to be a little bit longer, even though it's full of great information. So I will kind of leave it. If anybody else has just an extra thought that they really want to add that just helped them, a huge tip that was like light bulb moment, super down for that. Or if anyone on here live has just a quick question, we're just kind of open real quick for the last couple minutes.
I guess I'll add that if the conversation's kind of dying and you want to keep up the relationship and stuff, I kind of think about the person and then try to find things to send them. So I've been randomly tagging you with a ton of stuff this week, right, Rachel? Not anything you love. So kind of that thing, just showing people that you've been thinking about them and remembering their interests and just trying to keep that relationship. That's just something that I noticed that I've been doing recently.
Yeah, that's basically what I was going to say. Just follow up. The fortune is in the follow up, and that's something that we hear so often. But you don't have to always follow up with the products, or the business or anything, or Plexus. You can follow up by commenting on their posts. You can follow up by messaging them and saying hey, how was your weekend? Or I saw the picture, or whatever. Follow up is just so key and so important. One example, one of my potentials, it's been months that I've been talking with her, and she was one that actually was, posting tonight that she's diagnosed with celiac, and she has ignored a lot of my past messages, but tonight I still sent her a message just saying, hey, I saw this article on celiac and the microbiome, and I thought that you would really enjoy it. Didn't even mention Plexus or the products. I mean, clearly that microbiome goes in hand, but I just sent it to her, and I was like, I hope you check this out and, get something from it. Might educate you some. So that follow-up is just, it's important. Build that relationship. Continue.
Absolutely.
I want to add that kind of what they were going off of, but really focusing on giving to people and not what you're going to get out of it. I've really been working on my mindset with that and just adding value to your friends and family and adding value to your network and focusing on how you can give to them, and rather than focusing on what you're going to get out of it. I feel like that has made a huge difference. Charlie. I feel like that's made a huge difference just with my mindset, and really just how you view the business in general, and how people will view you if you're literally just trying to give to them and they see that you're trying to add value in their life. I don't think anyone's mentioned this yet, and I just have to always add this, but consistency with everything that you do is so important, especially when it comes to getting sales. Consistency with posting, consistency with reaching out and following up. You have to be consistent with follow-ups, consistency with mindset and affirmations, just in general. I feel like I preach consistency all the time, so I feel like I had to just add that in there because it's so important.
I appreciate that. There's messages going on. I don't know if you guys are seeing them, but they're really sweet. Laurel said these Zooms always seem to happen when I need them most. I'm very grateful to have such strong leaders and team members. I really needed this tonight. That just made my heart swell. And Lisa, she's under Kayla, right? I'm assuming. She said, I'm brand new and completely agree with follow-up. Financial was what had a hold on me joining. So I'm thankful that Kayla was patient with me and stayed in touch until I was able to dive in. And that says it all right there. Consistency and follow-up. But yeah, well, thank you, everybody. This was amazing. I love that we have this as a resource now. It's packed full of information, and I can't wait to share it with the team page. But anyway, thank you. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday night. And by the way, sneak peek in February. I told some of you this, but we're doing a Back to Basics Zoom series, and it's gonna be bomb. I'm so excited. So be on the lookout for that. I think everything's the bomb. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye, guys.